Welcome, welcome. I think you're on and we're on. This is the World Wanderlusting Google Hangout. This is the first time we've tried something like this, but we're super excited about it. We're a couple minutes ahead of schedule, so we're just going to hang tight and maybe chit-chat before it begins at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And hopefully we've got people tuned in. Looks like we've got some viewers here and more coming. We had, I think, close to 70 people sign up to watch, and we're excited to have that kind of bandwidth, that many people paying attention here. We're thrilled with what we've done with World Wanderlusting in the last 3 years as we've kind of built this out, and more than anything, and Sheldon, I think you'll echo this, is what we're really excited about is seeing people partake in the free travel action.
Yeah, I've got a friend, his name's John. He's a follower, and I mean, just about a month ago, well, it's been a little over that, he took his wife to Europe, spent 12 days in Italy enjoying gelatos. He rode on a gondola with his wife, and I mean, these are trips that he never would have been able to have afforded otherwise. And so the bottom line is you're going to be able to do some of these things. And so, you know, we're excited that you're here and you're excited about learning about travel and how to do it affordably. That's for sure.
I'm going to go ahead and I guess we can do this to begin. You can see some of us. Sheldon is the younger brother and got all the good looks, and I got all the brains. So I guess you got all the brains.
You can't have them both.
And then what we're going to do is I've got a little tool here. I can share our screen. So we're going to go to full screen share, and I'll bring up our World Wanderlusting web page. Again, we'll keep stalling here, but back to the point about you know, people partaking. We've had a lot of guest posts here recently, people who've been enthusiastically wanting to share. In fact, I have a sister-in-law who's embraced the World Wanderlusting concept and just booked for 5 people from Rhode Island out to visit us here in Idaho in June, and out of pocket paid no more than $200. Those flights would have otherwise cost $1,300. So she booked that with Southwest points, and don't get intimidated by not understanding the whole frequent flyer mile points world. That's what we're here for, and we just spoon feed you twice a week, and sometimes even three times a week, a great post on worldwanderlusting.com that will educate you about the miles and points world, and piece by piece you'll go about kind of learning the process. We brought you here to talk about Costa Rica and how you can get there for $69. But to begin, we just want to do a quick introduction to the website. And one thing that I'd really like to urge is if you're participating in this webcast, go onto our blog and just sign up on right here, subscribe to our blog. That way you'll get our emails, or you'll get the posts delivered to you by email. We've gone to a model here that kind of summarizes our last few posts. But you know, at the top bar here, you've got some of the How to Wanderlust things, some of the other breakouts. I don't know. We'll go through that here in a bit. Maybe to begin, I did want to show you some of the reason why we're so enthusiastic about sharing Costa Rica with you. I've been to Costa Rica twice, I think, Sheldon.
I've been there twice as well.
And it's not enough. Amazing place. There's a reason it's such a tourist draw. Some of these pictures are from I guess all these are from my 2009 visit. And this is from the La Paz Waterfall Village. Amazing place. Playing with toucans and tree frogs and everything else. Did some deep sea fishing, some surfing. Ate delicious food, went to Playa Ventanas, one of my favorite beaches on earth. They're just south of Dominical on the Pacific coast in Costa Rica. I lost my wedding ring in this beautiful little waterfall here. We stayed in this house that we rented on a real bargain, I think, for my wife and I and her cousin and his wife. We had this entire place to ourselves with 6 bedrooms, and we paid $75 each a night. Pretty incredible, and we didn't get that reimbursed. This was a few years ago before we really embraced the whole taking advantage frequent flyer mile programs concept.
The bottom line is, as you become a follower of World Wanderlusting, we can guarantee you that you will travel more than your friends and more often to more places, and you'll do it for less than they will. I mean, I talk to people regularly who spend thousands of dollars on very basic vacations, and I just feel sick to my stomach to think about how much they spend and how little they should be spending. And so that's the cool part about it, is literally you'll be able to go more places more often than anyone that you know. And it's not because you're a millionaire, it's because you're smart and you're taking opportunities that are all around you. I mean, just imagine if you had $100 bills all around you, I mean, you'd be picking them up. And this is a scenario where there's $100 bills all around you. And so just reaching down and picking them up and having some of these experiences, I mean, that's one of the things for me when I think about travel. Is travel for me is experiences, it's people, it's culture. I mean, these are things that will last your whole life. I mean, when you sit on your deathbed and you think about your life, you're going to think not about the car you drove or the house you lived in, and maybe you will, but I don't think so. I think you're going to be thinking about the experiences that you have and the places that you had them and the people that you spent them with. And that's what we're here to accomplish, is we're giving you experiences that only the rich can afford. Yeah. And you don't have to be rich.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't have to, because what you're essentially doing is taking your everyday spending purchases that you make and allocating them to meet minimum spending requirements for credit cards, getting large loyalty point rewards, and building up an award wallet. In other words, a whole bank of lots of different points that you can use to do all kinds of amazing trips. And the one that we used to kind of draw you in today was, of course, the idea of getting to Costa Rica for $69 plus taxes. So back to our website, I just want to show you the way we've kind of mapped this out is to do on Frontier Airlines. Hopefully Frontier serves your city or a city nearby you. They do serve a lot of them. So if you go to our website, just off the right-hand side here, you can click on search for Frontier, and you can see this post, a $69 fee for $900 in Frontier Airlines flights. And so again, the idea here is that you can actually take advantage of the credit card points that are offered to you for meeting a minimum spending requirement. So for example, this Frontier Airlines World MasterCard, if you click right here, you'll see earn 40,000 bonus miles after spending $500 in the first 90 days. This 10,000 bonus if you do a balance transfer, but we never advocate ever keeping a balance on a credit card. The whole idea here is never accumulate a balance, always make your payments on time, never spend anything on a credit card that you wouldn't otherwise spend. So point is here, if you sign up for this card, you get approved, you spend $500 within the first 90 days, just everyday purchases, you're going to get 40,000 bonus miles. And if you don't know this whole world, then you don't really know what 40,000 bonus miles will get you. So as it says in this post, if you go to World Wanderlusting and go to How to Wanderlust and go to Using Airline Miles, and I may as well just do it for you here, and you scroll down and you look at the Frontier Airlines award chart and where we fly, you can actually just look and see, okay, so on Frontier Airlines, I want to redeem my 40,000 points. How can I redeem them? And you scroll down and you see that on early return standard award redemption levels, you could take those 40,000 miles and actually do 2 round trip flights inside the U.S., including even Alaska. You could go to Mexico or Costa Rica, round trip for 30,000 points. To the Dominican Republic, round trip for 30,000 points. To Jamaica, round trip for 30,000 points. So now we're going to go back here and say, okay, in order to make that happen, it's really as simple as once you get your 40,000 points, you're going to log into Frontier Airlines, and I thought I'd already done this here. Oh, here it is. My time has expired. So once you get those 40,000 points, I'll show you how simple it is. let's just say you're in Salt Lake City. That's the biggest major airport that's close to us. You go to frontier.com, go to more search options, and just go up here and click on redeem miles. And let's just say you want to go from Salt Lake City to SJO, which is San Jose, Costa Rica. And let's say you've already got these miles, you know, in your account. You want to go from let's go from May 5th to the 15th. That'd be a 10-day trip. Great little trip to Costa Rica. Just go through that notice. Okay, so don't get intimidated, because what it usually does, it shows you the highest award options, but sometimes when you click through these, even though it might say 25,000 miles, they'll give you an option to actually book this trip for 15,000 miles each way. So right away we have it on Monday, May 5th. Leaving Salt Lake City at 7. And then this is a red-eye flight, not the most beautiful thing in the world, but hey, that way you don't have to pay for a hotel. Getting into San Jose at 5:12 the next morning. So 15,000 standard award. On the way back, let's say, you know, leaving San Jose early, 6:15, get back into Salt Lake City at 4:08. Let's click on that one. Next. And you can see here's a you got 40,000 points for signing up for this card and spending $500. You're spending 30,000 of those 40,000 points, and you've got a round-trip flight from Salt Lake City to San Jose, Costa Rica. You're off and running. And the beautiful thing is, the same course of action that you took to get yourself 40,000 points, in all likelihood you can take to get your spouse 40,000 points. So you can book those separately and then have Frontier merge the itineraries, and both of you will be headed on a trip to Costa Rica that you paid a $69 annual fee for the card, plus $50 for a total cost of about $120 round trip from Salt Lake City to Costa Rica.
That's super exciting, because I mean, if you've ever shopped for a flight to Costa Rica, you're probably looking in the neighborhood between $600 to $800 for your flight. So when you look at the savings, if you pay, let's say, $120 and it's an $800 flight, I mean, you are paying a fraction. Now, if you times that by 2, okay, your $1,600 flights for you and your spouse, like if you were to both get this card and both able to meet the spending requirement, use the card responsibly, basically that is going to save you, I mean, what does that end up being? $1,300,
yeah.
And that gets you there. And then we have ideas for hotels and things too. I mean, we're just trying to whet the palate to kind of give you an idea of how exciting this can really be.
Yeah, so that's a good overview of an example of Costa Rica. Any of you that are on the Google Hangout, if you actually want to type in the chat bar, if you have a specific itinerary that you're looking at for a period of time, send it over to us, and we'll see if we can do it live while we're on this Google Hangout. In the meantime, we'll kind of proceed with some of the other things that we had planned. We mentioned the Dominican Republic, but before we jump to that, I'm sure I'm going to, and because we can't get immediate feedback, we don't really know what your immediate concerns are. But, one question that always comes up to us is like, okay, well, this sounds like a great idea and all, but applying for credit cards will hurt my credit. And the reality is that it can hurt your credit if you're irresponsible about it. But if you're responsible about it, and you do these 2 key things, number 1, always make your payments on time, and number 2, never keep a balance on your credit card, then 65% of your credit score is impermeable. So this is taken from FICO, quite literally. This is exactly how your credit score is calculated, 65% being your payment history and the amounts owed. So we urge you to do those things responsibly and never ever spend money on a credit card that you wouldn't spend otherwise. The whole idea is here to redirect spending that you might be doing with checks or cash or debit cards to meet these small minimum spending requirements, in this case only $500 in the first 90 days. I mean, most of us probably spend $500 a month on gasoline and groceries. So even just putting gasoline and groceries on one of these credit cards can get you almost $1,000 in free flights.
Yeah, it's absolutely exciting, and one of the things that, like Brad mentioned here, is your credit score. And so, I mean, he talked about the different pieces of this pie. Basically, people are concerned. Oh, if I apply for a credit card, it drops my score by like 2,000 points. Well, the truth is, that's not true. You actually have 3 credit scores. If you didn't know that, you have a credit score that is provided by TransUnion, a credit score that's provided by Equifax, and one that is by Experian. And so what happens is when you apply for a credit card, it actually, for most of those, actually ends up only showing up on one of those. So actually only one of your 3 credit scores is actually even harmed by that. On top of that, as you add new accounts, you are showing responsibility in your ability to pay for those credit accounts. And so, this post right here will be like a really good thing for you guys to read through. It's just right here on the top bar, and we want you to spend some time on that. Ask us questions, send us an email. I mean, we're more than happy to kind of answer your questions. This is an interactive deal, and we want you to know that we're here to like answer questions. And by no means do we work for FICO, but we have studied this long enough and have participated in this long enough to really benefit from this.
And one way to kind of keep up on your credit score is actually to use a credit monitoring service, or even better than credit monitoring. This is kind of a company that monitors your, what do they call it, a FACO score. Basically, it recreates your existing credit with the data that populates your credit history. So this is Sheldon's login. How many cards have you personally applied for in the last 2 years?
Oh, I would tell you, for me personally, I'm probably over 10 cards in the last 2 years. And you can see this is like a mimic of my credit score. So you see it shows here, roughly a 785, and which is an excellent. And the good thing about this service is it's absolutely free. It tells you how much you owe on your credit cards. It gives you this really cool tool right here called a credit card report card. And this is something that I glance at often, in fact. And let me just kind of give you a taste of what this looks like. What they have are different categories, and these are some of the same categories that you saw on our blog when we showed you this pie graph right here. And so what happens is they're going to talk about, if you're doing good, by how much of your credit cards you're using. So what they say is they really want you to be using between 1 to 20% on a monthly basis of your credit card, and you get an A in this category. And they will also talk, historically how much you've been using of your credit card. Here it talks about payment history, so this will say how often your payments are on time. You see here that I have had 231 payments, and all 231 have been on time. This box right here is really important too, because it's going to tell you that this factor has a high impact on your credit score, which means that it's really important for you to make those payments on time. So if you come back here to our blog where we have this pie graph and you say payment history, well, you see how important that is. And amounts owed, you see how important that is. So that's why they're considered high importance, because they play such a big role in your credit score. Continuing on, they have additional ones. They say your age of average credit history. This shows there. It talks about the total accounts that you've had. And this is an area that you might be shocked by. In order for you to get an A, you need to have 22 credit history accounts. So what that means is you need to have had 22 accounts. Now you look at other people and you say, well, if I apply for a credit card, it hurts me. Well, in certain scenarios, and this is a low impact, but it will help you as you have more history. I mean, imagine if you're the lender and someone comes to you and says, look, I've been responsible. I owed my dad some money once and I paid it all off. Okay, well, you're not nearly as excited as if someone says, look, I owed this bank this money once and I paid it all off, and I owed this bank and that bank and the other bank. As a lender, you're going to be much more willing to share, to lend money to those individuals, which means that you're of a higher capacity of being issued those credit scores. So then there's a couple other categories here, but this is a really good tool. It's absolutely free, so we encourage you to participate in creditkarma.com so that you can, watch your credit scores so you can see how you're doing. One thing as a word of caution as well is, as you kind of get started in this, make sure you have a very good credit history established, and that you start off with a good base. And so if you're new to credit, what you're probably going to want to do is just start with like one card and do really slow. And so that's what we're kind of talking about, is just taking it easy.
Yeah. This post will summarize a lot of those questions and has links to Credit Karma. And then for any question that you might have about World Water Listing, our frequently asked questions is just on this edge right here, and you can go through and answer some of these questions. How good does my credit score need to be? Does it hurt my credit? How do the miles and points work? That's usually the biggest hurdle to getting people involved, is they're totally confused about exactly how the different points and programs work. And so as we kind of continue here and talk about another option of how to book a flight, maybe even to the Dominican Republic, I wanted to also point out that there are a few different levels of credit cards. We break it off into 3 different areas. We have airline cards, hotel points, and bank points cards. And what we're talking about today is for the most part the airline cards and how you can use that to get free flights. But the same thing applies to hotel points, and the same thing applies to bank points that you might be able to transfer to any of these other programs or just use as cash to make other travel-related purchases, maybe booking a cruise or booking a rental car, something like that. So now back to the point about how can this Frontier card, for example, take me to the Dominican Republic. So notice on the right-hand side of our blog here, there are some of these cards that are highlighted. One of these is the Frontier card, so you can see there. Let's just go to this and say, okay, and we used Salt Lake as an example last time, but let's use Chicago. I don't know where everybody's from that's on the call, and let's go to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, and
if you haven't been, while Brad's looking up the dates, and as you kind of watch him do that, if you haven't been to the Dominican Republic, if you're a cigar smoker, it's a great place to go. Or if you're interested in tobacco, they grow a lot of them, and they roll a lot of cigars there. Culturally, you look there, and they have a lot of history. It's the island of Hispaniola, which is one of the islands where Columbus came when he came to the Americas. And so they actually have like a house that belonged to Columbus that's still there in Santo Domingo that you can tour. So when it comes to Dominican Republic, Brad posted the other day about this treehouse village where literally, as a kid, dream about creating these like immaculate tree houses. Well, this guy has created them. If you search a Dominican treehouse village on our blog, you're going to be able to see some of the posts about it. And there's some dreamy beaches, and there's delicious food, and they have mountains, and they have waterfalls. We're talking all kinds of wonderful things. Here, Brad's going to pull up some of those pictures.
Yeah, I actually stayed here just less than a month ago, up in this little treehouse village right here, and we're still planning a giveaway in which our World Wanted Listing followers might actually win a week's stay at the Treehouse Village. This is the inside, which is remarkably clean and beautiful. This is the big eco lodge there, and a swing around a fireplace. There's a zip line right there and a waterfall rope swing. May as well just kind of show that to you. It's within 5 minutes of this beautiful beach here down below. Dominican Republic is just a wonderland, I'm here to tell you. This beach right here is really isolated. Around the corner here, this is totally underappreciated. It's a dirt road getting out to it, which just gives you some idea just how remote it is. And then there's an abundance of waterfalls there in the Dominican Republic you can hike to. One of our favorite things to do is to hike into a waterfall and swim in it. Back to the idea here. It didn't look like my 5th date was available, but it looks like maybe on Monday, April 7th, coming back on Wednesday. Now, initially it's showing me here that this is going to be a total of 40,000 miles from Chicago to the Dominican Republic. I'm going to fiddle with that because if I can get it for 30, why pay 40, right? So let's just go forward with it. And Frontier's real finicky this way. Sometimes, oh, there you go right there. So same deal. There actually is availability on the 7th, 15,000 miles each way. That's a direct flight from Chicago to Punta Cana. 30,000 miles plus $33. So you're into this, $69 plus $33. You're barely over $100 to go round trip from Chicago to the Dominican Republic. So, we do this all day long. We post twice a week with certain opportunities, that are specific to areas that people we've talked to want to go and see. Not too long ago, I helped some fellow World Wanderlusters book a trip to Ireland. And they went round trip from Salt Lake City into London, and then from Dublin back to Salt Lake City for 40,000 American points plus $85. We posted about that on the blog the other day. There are so many opportunities, and what it really requires is just you having the flexibility to say, hey, I'd go anywhere and everywhere, anytime, and there are ways to make it work. If you get more specific, sometimes it's a little tougher, but even Hawaii, for example, which is a really popular vacation place and one that is a little more challenging to use frequent flyer mile points to book. I just posted about earlier this week. There's a Barclays Hawaiian Airlines card that you can get that gives you 35,000 points. You have to spend some more money on that card in order to get you there, but I mean, round trip tickets to Hawaii for no more than $100. Pretty amazing deal there too. So if you're ever having an idea and you're thinking, okay, hey, I'd really like to go here, I'd really tweet us, Facebook us, email us, comment us. We're trying to build an army of people who are just not content to sit at home and go through life the same boring way and never go and do anything. We're urging you, if you've got kids, find somebody to watch them or bring them along. If you've only got a few vacation days at work, well, take what you have and use them to take advantage of some of these opportunities and go see amazing places in the world. Like Sheldon said, on your deathbed, you'll never regret the things that you went and did.
So one other thing I was going to show you real quick is we have this tab up here called Best Travel Credit Cards, because you might not want to go to the Dominican Republic. You might say, you know what, there's not enough history there. I want to go to Europe, I want to go somewhere else. And there's lots of other places to go, but there's a ton of resources here as far as credit cards that will get you different places. And we've kind of just categorized them all. We've told you about what the bonuses are. You'll find sometimes in these notes areas where they're really good. We'll talk about, we'll put some posts that talk specifically about how to use these credit cards. So you can cruise through here if you're a Marriott fan, if you like to fly within the United States. Southwest Airlines is a really, really good way to fly around inside the United States because they have free checked bags. They don't have change fees, so they're really great. So that's great. When you kind of look through these cards, you can kind of thumb through them and figure out and like mix and match the cards that will meet what you're trying to accomplish. And so, like I said, this is a great resource where you'll find lots of these credit cards that have so many things that you can use when you go traveling to other places. And so, the whole idea is that you create yourself like a wallet of points. And so when you decide that you want to go hunting in Alaska and you've always desired to go fishing and catch a 7-foot salmon or whatever that they find in Alaska, we want to be able to show you a number of ways to get to Alaska. Because one downside, and we're going to be honest about this, about traveling on points, is sometimes the dates you have to be flexible. And so you have to be willing to go when the deals are on. And so if you have points with American and you have points with Delta and Alaska Airlines, then you can have a lot more flexibility. And so, we're going to preach to you that you just kind of need to get this wallet and start putting different currencies in there so that when you go somewhere, you have the currency that you need to go to that location.
Another great way to get started is with a program you might already know or understand. So a lot of people feel like they are doing what we're talking about here, but they might be doing it, just 10% up the scale that we're actually talking about. So you might have a Delta SkyMiles account and you've got 10,000 SkyMiles that you've been slowly accumulating for the last 7 years. What we're saying is like if you've already got that Delta SkyMiles account, you understand how they work. Maybe you need to top off that account with the Delta Gold American Express. You get another 30,000 miles, and all of a sudden, all those trips that you wanted to be able to go and do, you haven't been able to go and do because you hadn't had enough points. That's going to round it up to 40,000 points for you, and you're actually going to be off and running. So let's see here. I got to back up back to where I was. Another one that we really like for kind of starters is this Barclays Arrival World MasterCard. Reason being is because this card is pretty simple. You don't have to worry about how many miles do I need to fly this place to this place, or how many points do I need to be able to stay in a certain hotel. This is just a cash back product. So you sign up for this card, you have to spend $3,000 within the first 90 days. So basically $1,000 a month. And then you'll get 40,000 points, which you can use to reimburse $400 in travel expenses. So I really like this one for cruises, car rentals, any kind of flexible expense. We've used these to book Allegiant Airlines, actually. Trips to Las Vegas or any of those places that Allegiant goes to visit. And you could even book an entire package like flight and hotel and show on Allegiant Airlines and get yourself fully reimbursed from the points you get from this card. Every dollar you spend also gives you 2.2% cash back for travel on that one.
Just to kind of give you a couple other ideas, because we want you to be able to email us with some questions. Follow us on Facebook. You can follow us. We're on Facebook.com. It's World Wanderlusting, so you'll see our picture here, and this is something we encourage you to go out and like. That way you're going to get our posts, and it'll just trickle on you. I mean, just plan on learning a little bit at a time. Spend some time reading it, and you'll kind of get some amazing things. I mean, literally, to just kind of give you some ideas as far as, like, just Brad and I, like, between us or some of the other people that we've kind of helped book some trips for. I mean, literally, in the last year, we have done some incredible stuff. I mean, I'm going to Orlando in May, and I booked 4 tickets for $30. Brad just mentioned he sent those people to England and Ireland for $85. Brad last year went to Italy and Slovenia, 2 incredible places where he took this picture right here. $81 for him and $81 for his wife. $162 for an experience of a lifetime.
We stayed 13 nights in hotels and didn't pay a single dollar for a night in hotels. And if you hear us talk about any of this stuff and you're like, oh, well, what was that they said about whatever? Please use this search bar on worldwanderlisting.com. If you want to see what have they ever said about Italy, and you type in Italy, it's going to bring up, okay, here's some posts about Italy specific to maybe, and this is an example. Goes through and talks about that trip that Nicole and I took. Or there's a drop-down bar right here too, where you can say, okay, what about, what posts have they done about using, let's say Europe. Or another drop-down, maybe you go, okay, what about using a specific card like the city cards? Okay, what posts have they done about city cards? And so you can see everything we've posted about city as well. We want people to kind of use the World Wanderlisting website as a dashboard for planning your travel specific to frequent flyer miles. So, using airline miles, using hotel points. If you're wanting to look at, okay, let's say you've got the Marriott card and you've got 70,000 points, where can I use those points? And you can just look in here and say, okay, well, if I've got 70,000 points, it's 10,000 points a night in a Category 2. Okay, well, let's look at what Category 2 hotels are available on Marriott. So you can go specific to, in the United States, in California, Category 2 hotels. Just go down here and say, okay, I just want to look at the 42 hotels in California that are Category 2. And then you can say, okay, I could stay any of these places for 7 nights with my 70,000 Marriott points. So this should be a great resource for you in planning your trips. And then we've done a lot of posts about how you manage all this stuff too. I mean, I would never be able to manage all these credit card accounts without Mint.com. Mint.com is an online database where you can actually log in and enter all your information. Basically, it's a repository for all your credit accounts. So that's a good way to kind of keep track of everything and not get yourself in the problem of, not having your fingers on everything that you have. A Ward wallet is one that we use to manage all the points that you accumulate, so you can keep track. And I may as well just log in so I can kind of show you some of these. So real quickly here, proceed. So you can see my American Airlines, I got 98,000, United 60,000, U.S. Airways 67,000. Nicole has 80,000 on American. So anyways, this is, again, I got 1.3 million frequent flyer miles, and there's some that don't get pulled into this account, but bottom line is there's all kinds of things you can do when you have a big fat award wallet like that.
We're just excited to have you on our webinar, and we realize it's a little bit fuzzy. We've got some feedback that it's been a little bit fuzzy. We'll sharpen that up, and we'll have some more of these so we can kind of go over some other ideas and things. Yeah, I mean, feel free to, like we mentioned before, I mean, send us emails with some questions. Let us know, kind of what things we can be doing in order to help you plan your trips. If you tell us where you want to go, we can give you some ideas about what's going to help you. We kind of wanted to open it up at the end here. Brad just kind of put it out there on the side. You can type in some questions. So we just kind of wanted to give you guys an opportunity to ask any questions of us so that we can answer those now. If not, like I say, you can feel free to comment on the post. You can email us. Our email account is worldwanderlusting@gmail.com. So I guess we'll check and see, are there any questions?
So far, none have come through. Yeah, we're super responsive. We appreciate everyone participating in the Hangout. We can do this more often. It's the kind of thing, and I guess, to be honest too, we need to be disclaim that there's a reality here that we actually can make money off this blog. We don't really, but when you get on here and you apply for some of these credit cards that we're offering, we have an affiliate relationship with the credit card offers where they actually give us a commission if you apply and are approved through our website. We talk about the best cards that are out there. We have like 30 different links for different credit cards on our blog, and we get paid on about 7 of them, and we get paid, not a huge amount either. So we're not doing this because we're getting filthy stinking rich off of you. We're literally doing this because we love the idea of engaging other people and empowering them to travel and do things they would have never otherwise thought possible. One of my favorite guest posts we've ever done is by John Myers, who Sheldon mentioned earlier, who said, after a trip to Italy with his wife, he said, "I never thought I would have been doing this until I was old with gray hair and wearing penny loafers." And here he was, under age 30, right around age 30, taking his wife all across Italy. So you can do the exact same thing. It's just a matter of using your purchasing decisions to maximize your opportunities to get loyalty points, and then use those loyalty points to travel almost free.
I mean, think of it this way. I'm 30 years old, and I've traveled to 30 countries. And believe me, I'm not a millionaire. The truth is, this is real. I mean, like, if just follow us, like, watch the posts, ask us questions, and you will be able to do the same thing. I mean, literally, it is not unrealistic for you to think that you can go to 30 countries within a few years, depending on how much time you have and how much you want to contribute as far as how much you want to travel. I mean, we've had lots of people who have jumped on board and have just become followers. Here's another post from one of our World Wanderlusting fans here.
Yeah, so if you've actually done some of this stuff and you want to write a guest post for us, let us know. Share your stories, and maybe it'll inspire somebody else to do the same kind of thing. We're enthusiastic about this, as you can tell, and we love the prospect of cultivating a group of people who are out there doing the same things we are. giving us feedback. I mean, we've gotten tips from some of our readers that are actually saying, hey, you need to check out this or do this, or here's another way you can pull off that flight to, Africa or whatever else. So we want to just kind of promote a dialogue there where we can use each other as resources so that we can all go more, see more, do more. And we love that you took the time to participate with us, and hope that you'll follow us on Facebook. Hope that you'll sign up for our what's it called? Our blog posts. Subscribe to our blog to get the blog posts, and let us know if you have any ideas where you'd like to go. We'll help you get there. So thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.